Okay. Now I need to see if people can hear us. We should be live. Are you in chat?
We're live, yeah. I'm in chat. I don't see anything.
You're going to take the phone away for a second because it's giving a bad echo. How about as far as the audio? Everybody can hear us okay?
Yeah, Brandon says we're good.
Oh, we're good. Good. Everyone, thank you for coming to another great, wonderful, The Illusional Through the Veil Live. Tonight is my co-host Michelle Griffin is at a baseball game. Tonight's my co-host is going to be the fabulous, wonderful LaWanda Munson.
Hi.
For those who don't know LaWanda is, of course, a great mystic and an entrepreneur, and she is here with us, and that's why she's giving us a strange face. Of course, I'm kidding. For everybody who knows me and my wife, I always kid. We do have the fabulous Michelle. She's currently at a baseball game with her child, Sarah. LaWanda has her on the phone. I don't even know what the current score of the game is yet. Did she say what the score is?
All right, Michelle, we have you on. What's the score? Michelle.
What?
What's the score?
You sounded kind of, I couldn't understand what you were saying. The score is currently 8-7. They just pulled ahead of us by 1 run.
Oh.
We're gonna come back. It's Tuesday night and I'm missing the show, and so we're gonna come back and win this.
There you go.
Most definitely. What you got for us tonight, girly?
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, it looks like everybody's good.
Good. Well, then have everybody yell out, "Go Mountain View," first of all, and then we'll give... we need a little mojo here. We're on a 5-off streak here, so it's not pretty. Everything is shaping up so well and so quickly, and before we know it, June 8th is going to be here, and we're going to be all gathered at the Hyatt Regency, and tickets are really starting to move fast. In particular, if you're thinking about taking part in John Oliver's trans-channeling of the entity known as Jerome, you'll want to get tickets to that really soon because those are limited. Those are moving fast, as is the dinner with the speakers. So if you're thinking about doing either of those, get those done. And I think last week I made a quick little video when I couldn't be there, and it played before a repeat explaining the dinner thing, and I'll just explain that real quick too and let you know that what's going to happen is you'll pay for your dinner, and then when you show up for the dinner, you're going to draw a number, and the number will be your table assignment, and then the speakers are also going to draw numbers. So there's no way that anybody's going to know which speaker they get to sit with. So I think that that's going to be really fun and exciting and a good meal and a chance for everybody to dress up. And somebody asked me the other day, because I thought semi-formal down for the dinner, and they were concerned and confused over what that meant. And obviously you can wear what you want to wear. It is a sit-down dinner, but I wanted to clarify that you don't have to wear your little black cocktail dress, and certainly no tuxedos, anything like that. Just come and get your food on. We have napkins. That's what makes it formal.
There you go. Not paper towels, napkins.
Yeah, and cloth napkins, too.
Ooh, going all out.
That's how I know I'm at a fancy place, if there's a cloth napkin.
Nice.
So other than that, yeah, it's going to be here so stinking fast. And to repeat, of course, we've got the incredible Joshua Gates from Sci-Fi's Destination Truth and Hanson from Sci-Fi's Fact or Fake. Panache Desai is going to be there doing our keynote. Chip Coffee, John Oliver, who I already mentioned. Travis Walton from Fire in the Sky, and his story is going to have the most amazing evidence probably to date of actual alien abduction. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be really neat. And Jonas Elrod from the film Makeup is going to screen that there, and we'll get to watch it with him. And Selena, I can't pronounce her last name. Selena, she's a shaman. She's going to be there.
Cool.
We just have so many great people. This is definitely the best event yet for our 4th annual. I'm not sure how we'll top it next year, but get your tickets. get your hotel room and plan on spending the weekend with us.
Yep, most definitely.
And then I want to, I'm pretty sure we still have some vendor tables available if somebody wants to come and do that.
We actually do. The tables are going quick, and until April 1st, they can actually get on the early bird special.
Yeah, the prices go up on April 1st. So if you're thinking about it, if you have some cool skills or product, service, whatever, that you think that this would be a great audience to target, then grab your table, and you'll do that by filling out online as an application and a book terms kind of thing. You fill those out, and if you have any questions, you can email Luanda at assistant@throughtheveil.org, and she can answer any questions, and we'll get you set. And like she just said, they go up, so you want to get those quick.
Most definitely.
Quick, before the baseball score gets any worse. Now 9-7.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, so obviously nobody's saying go Mountain View.
Right? I was going to say, let's go. Go Mountain View.
Everybody clap so they'll win.
Woo!
Well, I thank you guys so much for taking over completely, and I think it's the next couple weeks or so that I've got stuff going on Tuesday nights and won't be able to join you next week. I won't be able to join you at all. We'll be on spring break up in a cabin with no cell phone service, no internet, no technology.
Wow.
What am I going to do?
Right?
So thank you guys for doing that, and I'll let you guys go so you can get on to your guest. I'm really excited about it, and I'll have to watch it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. She's going to be talking about the Greys and, just the whole alien thing, and I can't wait because she's going to tie right in to try
it's Alien Month at Through the Veil.
Yes. All right, girl.
Well, I love you guys. Have a great show, and I'll talk to you later.
Love you. Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. I don't even know what is that. Are they in not overtime? What's the word I'm looking for? Are they still in preseason, or I guess not pre, but postseason? Do you have any idea?
No, it's just they're actually on it's the spring team with t-ball, baseball, softball. There's a fall team and there's a spring team, and they're actually on the spring team. She's with Sarah, and Jacob actually does travel. So last weekend she was actually down in Monroe, Georgia, about an hour away from us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's time consuming.
Yeah. I don't relish those days at all. When doing wrestling with the boys and everything. Speaking of Michelle, when Michelle said she was going to be without any kind of electronic device, of course, Brandon piped up saying, "I'd die. Oh, I don't know what I'd do. Oh, it's not like living down in the South or anything like that. Oh, no." So, I always have to make fun of the B-man. But let's see if we can go ahead and pipe in our illustrious guest for the night. I'll go ahead and give her a call. Just 1 second.
Okay. Oh, there she is.
Hello.
There she is. Hey, Judy, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can hear you real well, Greg.
Cool. Okay, and let me go ahead and give you a good intro. Tonight's guest is an author, Tai Chi and Reiki master, Judy Carroll. She has had many years of often... hold on here. I can't even read my own writing. Let me go ahead. There we go. She has had many years of often fully conscious encounters with off-planet visitors known as Greys or Zetas. These have blessed her with deep insights into the so-called UFO phenomenon. At 30, she had a fully conscious daytime encounter in which she recognized the visitors as family. Tonight's guest is Judy Carroll. Everyone, please welcome Judy.
Yay!
Hi, everyone.
You doing good?
What's that, Greg?
Are you doing good?
Oh, good, thanks, Greg. Yes, how are you there?
I'm perfect. I could be worse.
That sounds good.
Okay, so unfortunately, I had the books in the other room. Let me ask you this from the very start: what prompted you to write the two books that you have, and can you give us a good description of each book?
Yes, well, what prompted it, Greg, was there's been so much complaint by people who've been taken up onto the discs by the Greys that they won't communicate. And they actually approached me in about 1995 during a very profound contact experience and put it to me to write the books. And one book was to be a non-fiction book, the story of my own contact experiences, which is the book entitled The Zeta Message.
Okay.
And the other one was to be presented as a docudrama based on the Zeta Message and entitled Human by Day, Zeta by Night. And the reason why it's been presented as it has, as a docudrama rather than as a non-fiction book, is because it has been written entirely from the Zeta's perspective.
So
And
I got to ask you
sorry?
that the docudrama book that you've written, is that an account from, I guess, a Zeta's point of view of what had occurred?
Yes.
That I
The
didn't
whole book-
realize.
Yeah,
Okay.
the whole book has been written from their point of view, just to try and get a bit of information across and to overcome this idea that they won't communicate with people. And that's why a lot of the action on in the book actually takes part on the disc, so that people can see what's going on with the contact experience from their point of view, as opposed to from a human point of view, which is where most books have come from.
Okay. I got to ask you this, and a lot of books on aliens, particularly on Zetas, refer to a lot of negative connotation.
Yes, I know.
Is this quite the opposite of their true nature?
Yes, it is. There's a couple of things at play here. What people need to realise is there is a negative group down here based on planet Earth who are trying to, bring about a perception of fear to do with the Zetas. The genuine Zetas are here actually to help us up to our next level of evolution. And this brings me to what the change at the end of 2012 is all about. It's all to do with the evolution of the human species up to the next level of evolution.
Okay. And when you say, I was going to save that question for later, but I'll go ahead and bring it up now. When you say the end of 2012, a lot of people kind of have basically named it for, I guess, the long-standing notation of it, calling it the Ascension.
Yes.
Can you tell us then what your input is as far as the Ascension and in dealing with the Zetas?
Yes, well, it's actually quite complex. The Zetas gave us a teaching back in about 2001 on the cycle of evolution that the human species goes through, and this carries through the whole universe. And they refer to it as the human ladder. That's another name that they use for this cycle of evolution. Okay. And planet Earth is actually on level 1 at the moment, and there's about 10 levels, so we've got quite a long way to go. Okay. And and what's actually happening at the end of 2012, we're stepping up to the next level, level 2.
And when you say level, does that mean as far as our consciousness?
Yes, consciousness, exactly, Greg. The Zetas refer to them as galactic levels, and this really had us very confused at first because we didn't quite know what they meant. But what they mean by galactic levels is not actually a place, a physical place as such. It's a level of consciousness. And what human evolution is about is opening up deeper and more expanded levels of conscious awareness as opposed to subconscious, superconscious, etc. Now, on level 1, where we are at the moment, we can access about 10% of our potential conscious awareness or mind awareness. And this is linked in to the 10% of our DNA that's active at the moment.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, yes, so as we move up through these levels, we're able to access more and more conscious awareness as opposed to subconscious, etc. Things become more conscious, in other words.
Well, a lot of people, I think, are starting to kind of understand that, and I think there's also a lot of people that have never heard of the next human evolution being linked to consciousness via
Yes.
through changes to our DNA. Can you elaborate on that a little?
Yes, well, this is what the whole contact experience with the genuine ETs is about. In a way, they're moving through what could be called the dark night of the soul. In that, it's our fears, and I'm not talking about fears in connection with being scared of snakes or something like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about more emotional type fears, fear of death, fear of anyone who looks different to us, the fear of change, these sort of basic human fears.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in order for us to access more expanded conscious awareness, we need to break through the barrier that these fears have created in our mind. It's like as if it's a fear barrier that limits the ability of our mind to expand into greater realities. Now, what the Zetas are doing, with help from many other ET groups, is assisting people through this fear barrier. So, in other words, as I mentioned before, it's a little bit like the dark night of the soul that's connected to shamanism. And this is why even a lot of genuine ET contact experiences are quite scary. I know I went through a lot of fear at first. And the whole idea is to try and move through this barrier of fear, and people will find love on the other side when they can do this, and a vastly expanded consciousness as well.
So, how would they assist in changing our DNA from what we are now to, I guess, to the next level?
Yes, well, that's what people are being taken up on the discs. A lot of genetic type work's being done, and it has been done over several generations. Mm-hmm. As people can probably appreciate, you can't just click your fingers and the DNA suddenly opens up. It's a very slow process. It has to be done gradually. It's like turning a radio from AM frequency to FM. It's a slow, gradual process being carried out over several generations. And as I say, that's why people are being taken up on the disc for this type of work to be carried out. The Star Children are a very good example of this.
Go ahead. You look like you have a question to ask, Lawanda.
About how long? I know we had said that you had been having these things for a while, but about how long do you think this has been happening?
To everyone in general, or just to me?
Well,
yes,
both.
Yeah. There was a big step up in activity after World War II when the atom bomb was brought into play, because when a thing like this happens on a planet, something has to be done. So, upstairs, as we call them, intervenes, because the people involved are a danger to themselves, and they're also a danger to other parts of the universe. I mean, the Zetas talk about oneness all the time. We're all one. So if one planet is affected, then other planets are affected.
Right.
And so this is why they particularly stepped up their intervention after that. For myself, I've had contact ever since I was very young, as far back as I can remember.
Now, a lot of times, I know, speaking for myself, I was, 18, 19, coming back, and a bunch of us were hanging out or whatever, and I would have missing periods of time. Now, is that a normal part of maybe talking to the others?
Yes, it is, Lawanda, because we're talking about other dimensions here. When we're in contact with the Zetas, they operate on a higher vibrational frequency. So many people, yes, do go through this missing time concept, because once we move out of third dimensional reality, we move away from the concept of time into a more now present sort of thing. So you can go through an experience that seems to go on for hours, and it may not actually be that length of time. It might only be a few minutes. Also, vice versa. It might only seem a few minutes, and it is actually hours.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I mean, we would be coming back from a night, we would be out, just chit-chatting, going to the movies, and just the time frame from one place to the other was a 30-minute drive. Well, within that 30-minute drive, I was like, okay, I'm going home, and then all of a sudden I was at home. I was like, wait a minute.
Right.
I don't remember anything between point A and point B.
Yes. Yes, that is a very, very common occurrence. Another very common occurrence that people have during a contact experience is the paralysis. No doubt you've heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they call it sleep paralysis. Now, what's actually happening there is the ETs have assisted the person's astral form out of their body.
Okay.
What's important to remember? We're not our physical body. Our physical body is simply a vehicle, or as the Zetas refer to it, as a container. So during a contact experience, say, for example, we need to be taken up on the disc to have work done on our DNA or genetics or whatever, they will actually help us up out of our container. Now, while we're out of the body, and this happens every night in our dream state, we're leaving our body all the time. People don't realise this. But
I agree with you on that.
The body is put into it, or puts itself into a state of paralysis so that it can't throw itself around and, say, fall off the bed and hurt itself. Now, when we're doing it naturally in a dream state or meditation, we're not really aware of it happening. But when we're having an ET encounter, often, because we're sort of semi-awake with it, it becomes a conscious experience, and this is what frightens people.
Right.
Well, then, I got to mention this. When people say that the next human evolution, when I think of evolution, I think of, I guess, degrees of technology. I've always been somewhat of a Trekkie. So when I think of evolution, I think of being able to achieve warp drive, But, it doesn't seem to be the real case. The real case of evolution is really consciousness. But it brings me to another point in saying all that in total. Their ships, how do their ships function? As I guess, is there a way that you can describe their ships in a way that we can understand how they work?
Yes, okay. Well, the Zetas have consciousness-enhanced technology. So the ships are, in a way, living entities. And what the Zetas do, they link into the consciousness of the disk or the ship with their own minds. And link in, it's a little bit like, to make a comparison down here, it's like giving somebody Reiki. When we're doing a Reiki treatment, we place our hands on the person's body, and we have been through a certain number of attunements which enable us to channel universal life force energy into the person's energy system to bring them back in balance.
Okay.
Now, this is how the discs are operated. The person who's driving them, or the crew, place their hands on like an energy center in the disc and channel the universal energy through, which drives the disc. I think there's been certain experiments done down here. I think down here it's referred to as 0-point energy.
Now, when you say that, I lose my train of thought, well, every waking moment. Lawanda will definitely be able to attest to that. So does that mean that you would need, 100% focus if you're the one that's driving the ship?
Absolutely, absolutely. I actually had quite a scary experience up there once. I was given one of the little mini discs to drive. They've got different size ones, and one of the little ones usually carries about 2 or 3 people. And the one who's operating it sits in the front with their hands on the control panel, and the other person sits in the back. And my Zeta teacher was sitting in the back. And I had my hands on the control panel, and because down here I haven't got really good eyesight, I need glasses to drive. Okay. And we were moving at absolute warp speed, and I couldn't see very well. I was still relating back to my physical human body down here and getting really, really nervous. And I was finding that because I was nervous, my mind kept lapsing off the concentration of keeping the disc, and it was like we were running along a sort of a track. It was almost looked like a monorail track, and I know that was just my perception of keeping this energy focused. And every time my mind went off, the disc started wobbling, and I was just so scared. And I was begging my teacher to let me pull up, let me pull over, let me stop. And he wanted to obviously get me past this fear barrier, so he was saying, no, keep going. No, I've got to stop. Okay. So it was really, really quite funny. But yes, it was a real mind focus, just absolutely beyond words.
I can imagine trying to take the driver's license test for something like that.
I actually have a question. One of the things that came out with the whole Roswell thing is we don't want to tell everybody because we don't want to scare anybody. Have you been afraid?
Personally, no. I really think that people are ready to hear about it. But as I mentioned before, there's a group down here, I call them the controllers in my book, and they don't want people to know, basically, because the Zetas are here and the other ETs to wake people up to more expanded consciousness, and this group doesn't want it to happen. And so the whole thing's being kept very quiet.
And you call them the controllers. What would their agenda be where they wouldn't want us to be connected or to advance in our consciousness?
Oh, they basically just want to stay in charge down here. They've been in control on this planet for millennia, and they want to remain in control. And part of that control is keeping people disempowered. You can see it in your daily life. Many things are used as a distraction. Materialism, cynicism, that sort of thing. Fear is the main weapon that they use to keep us in control.
Exactly.
And the whole ET agenda is to wake us up and re-empower us as immortal spiritual beings that we really are.
When I think of that, I can only assume that we would, as far as materialism and the material wealth, that would almost be out the door. We would basically try to ascend at that point to be more conscious of us, ourselves, and each other. To be more one with everyone as well.
Absolutely. That's exactly what the Zetas are here to try and help us to understand is the concept of oneness. And this is how they operate as a group. People talk about them as being all like a hive mentality. There's no free will, no individuality, but that's not true. When you get to know them, they're very, very much individuals, but everything they do is for the good of the whole rather than being as self-centered as it tends to be down here.
Now, I'll go ahead and let Luana look. Luana looks like she has another question.
No, I love accents, and I noticed that you have like an English Ireland accent. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Australia.
Okay, all right.
My accent's Australian.
That's awesome. I could just listen to you talk forever. But a lot of your, is that where your things have taken place?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as the context?
Yes, because I've noticed that a lot of people in everywhere but the United States are more open to saying, hey, this is what's going on, this is what happened to me, and this is my story. But in the U.S., we're just really tight-knit or just really closed-mouthed, and nobody wants to speak up and say anything.
Right. I think it's a bit the same here. A lot of people won't come out and speak about it, but I just think, hey, it's got to be spoken about. It's time now for people to find out and learn more. And there's been such a negative agenda put out, and I think it needs to be balanced with more positive information, because a lot of that negative stuff is disinformation.
I can't even say that if we had said this near the beginning, but when you talk about the Zetas, that's those are the grays that everybody refers to. The short gray men who have the elongated bodies, the skinny arms, the skinny legs, and the huge head and the huge eyes. Is that their actual physical nature, or is that some kind of like a space suit that we see?
Yes, it is actually a type of spacesuit. What people need to understand is that the Zetas, the genuine ones have evolved to a quite high level. Now, I was speaking before about the human ladder and planet Earth being on level 1. Mm-hmm. The Zeta people, or the Greys, is actually a more fitting thing to call them, because they're not just from one planetary group. They've come up from many planetary groups, and they're actually on levels 5 to 8. So they have about 50% up to 80% of their conscious awareness open. Now, because they've moved up to those higher levels, they actually have moved past the need to manifest a physical form. The physical part of the universe is really only on about the first 3 levels. After that, it becomes more non-physical, higher vibrational frequencies. We've got to look at the universe in terms of energy, and they vibrate on a higher frequency. So when you see a grey or a zeta in their true form, they're like a light body. Now, if they have to carry out work on a low-frequency planet like Earth, a physical planet, they may need to carry out physical tasks. They might have to come out here down here to do something physical, whatever, and they need to be able to relate to people face to face. And so they take on a container, basically what they call a container, which is the body that they use. Okay. Now, a lot of people, because of this, a lot of people think that they're robots because the body is sort of semi-artificial. But what people need to realise, a robot is an artificial body and artificial intelligence, whereas the zetas are conscious, universal life force intelligence, the same as we are. And this motivates the body. So the body is artificial, but the consciousness driving it isn't. It's part of the God force, the same as we are.
To me, that's like describing someone driving a car. A car will just sit there stationary until somebody actually gets in and sits behind the wheel.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I believe people have even seen the bodies up on the discs, lying down, not moving. But when the consciousness comes down into the body, then it motivates it.
Wow,
in a way, we're the same. Our bodies are biological, theirs aren't.
I don't know if I don't know how I'd be able to take that. If I'd see somebody, like a life-size doll, then, oh, hey, Greg, how you doing?
Think about it. I mean, I'm not trying to make fun of anything, but remember Men in Black, the movie? The guy said, or the wife said that he was wearing an Edgar suit. So basically, that's what it is. They come from their original body forms, which is probably just thought and matter, and they have to manifest in some way, so that's what they see.
It's exactly right. That's right.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, we well, at least I have a lot more questions I want to ask you before we run out of time.
I'll shut up now.
You state in the book, your book, Zeta Consciousness, that Zetas have a dry sense of humor.
Yes.
Can you give us a good example?
Yes, I can give you a wonderful example. My co-author of the Zeta Message, Helene, and I were running a contact group a few years ago. People had contacts with ETs. And at this group, people used to put questions to the Zetas, and I'd just write the question down. And then when I had time, I'd sit down in front of the computer, and the Zeta teacher would come in behind me, and he'd sort of, communicate the answers through telepathically. Anyway, one of the questions, I was sitting doing this one day, and one of the questions was a fairly heavy one on, interplanetary warfare or something, which I'm not really into. And I made a bit of a comment in my mind, this one's a little bit of a worry. Anyway, the Zeta teacher came back absolutely so fast with the question, do you want to know what's a real worry? And I could sort of feel a joke in the air, so I played along with it. I said, yeah, okay, tell me, what's a real worry? And his answer was being abducted on board an alien spaceship and finding a copy of An Idiot's Guide to the Universe open on the control console.
That's funny.
And then I came back at him because I know they don't like being called aliens, and they don't like the word abducted because, as I say, we're not really abducting people. People perceive they are, but they're not being abducted. They've given permission for this, and they don't like the word alien because they're right into the oneness thing. So I said to him, wouldn't you prefer to say, when you've been taken onto an ET disc? And he said, no. He said, we've got to start being a bit more open about this and not getting so upset.
Well, you mentioned, I guess, presence, or state of mind. Well, let me rephrase this in a different way. How does one go and say, I've truly believe in aliens. I truly believe in existence outside of our planet. I would love to be able just to communicate with a being outside of my known space.
Yeah.
How does one go about doing that?
Well, really putting the message out there, because they do like to be asked. The people who are being contacted have actually requested it in pre-life choices. So no one is being forced against their will, providing the contact is genuine. Mm-hmm. People aren't being forced. It's a pre-life decision and choice that we make, and that's the job of the Zetas, to help us with this particular period we're going through. So we have given out a request. Now, a lot of people are actually involved in contact, but they're not consciously aware of it. So generally, if a person really, really wants this contact, it's highly likely they're having it already. But if they want to try and remember it, I would suggest just requesting it. Just keep putting it out there. Hey, I want to be part of this, and I would really, really like to remember it. And maybe try recording their dreams, because we do bring a lot through our dreams, and by the time we wake up in the morning, it's all gone.
Like that.
Gotcha.
That's I had to assume that's what you're talking about. We may have a lot of actual contact. It's happening while we're in a dream state, and
Exactly.
when you wake up, first thing you're thinking of how you're going to do your day, or you're thinking, oh, I got to get another 5 minutes of sleep, just please. And it's whatever you had in your dream, it's totally gone.
Absolutely.
A lot of people. I wish there was ways where you can easily remember what you had a dream about, because I think it would actually benefit you greatly.
Before I go to sleep, there are nights where if I'm thinking about something, I will actually tell myself, I want to remember my dream. I want to remember, and I do it 3 times.
Yes.
I've never really thought about doing it more than 3 or less than 3, but I always say 3 times. I want to remember my dream. I want to remember my dream. I want to remember my dream. And those are the mornings that I wake up and I remember every single bit.
Well, it's funny you say that, LaWanda, because that links into one of the questions about the significance of the 3 knocks. With the Zetas, 3 is a very significant number, and I know it seems to be through a lot of spiritual paths and belief systems. 3 is a very important number because it stands for balance and creation. And the Zetas actually use these knocks as a, a signal to say, hey, we're here, we would like to communicate with you.
I just got goosebumps.
People.
Yeah.
Last week, I just got a tattoo of the 3.
Wasn't it the triumvirate? Is that how you pronounce it? But it's 3. It's the Celtic form of 3.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. So what is the origin of the Zetas and their original connection with the human race?
Okay, well, they're many, many, many millions years older than we are here. They have come up through a number of planetary cultures. Some have actually been humans before. There is about 1,000 different humanoid-type life forms on the first level of the human ladder. So the Zetas have come up through many different planets, including the Zeta Reticuli system. Some are from there. And as I say, they've now moved past physical manifestation. But they are basically a creator race. So we could say that Source, creator, God, whatever term you want to use, manifests through them, works through them. I can see the cat. Beautiful. So that's the reason why they came to planet Earth in the first place. When a planet comes to a point where it's ready to start having a human race evolve on it, these beings will come in and do whatever is necessary to create that race out of whatever life forms are there already. So to put it into simple words, it's human evolution. It's like a creation thing and a scientific thing. So, I know there's a lot of toing and froing between religion and science as to whether humans were created or whether they evolved, but it's all linked in together.
Okay.
So it's sort of both.
That brings up, I guess, another question I didn't even think about until you just mentioned that. You said when the planet is ready. You made it sound like we're kind of like in a symbiotic relationship with planet Earth in a way.
Oh, absolutely. It's all oneness. We're in a symbiotic relationship with the whole universe. And this is why races like the Zetas get a bit worried when people start developing atom bombs and things on a planet, because we are all one. So whatever happens in one little section, it's like a massive hologram. The whole thing is affected.
That's why you call it Mother Nature.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes, the Earth is a living entity.
Yes.
Okay. Other questions I got. In the book, you recall a story where you were attacked by a negative entity.
Yes, yes.
The next time that it had occurred, you said a Zeta came to help you. Do things of this nature happen to us all, and we're just not aware of it?
I'd say it would, because there's a lot of negative entities sort of around the whole time. It's a real astral plane sort of thing. Perhaps those of us who are doing this type of work are maybe a little bit more open to it, and maybe more consciously aware of it, because I have been consciously aware of this happening several times. This is the reason why actually I learned Reiki, because there's a Reiki symbol that is like a protection symbol against anything like that.
Okay.
But back at that time, I hadn't learned Reiki, so I was obviously vulnerable. And when this entity came in, it was quite interesting, because one of the Zeta teachers came in and just got rid of it very, very quickly.
Okay.
So,
I had to laugh because it looked like our little dog Kiki just
yes,
jumped up on Lawanda without any kind of warning whatsoever. And Lawanda just tried to play it off like that was nothing.
It's lovely, and I love the cat that was there before. I love animals. I'm really enjoying watching it.
We have too many, so if you really do love animals, just let us know, and we'll be more than happy to let you adopt.
We will ship them free.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's not Noah's Ark around our household. It's
good.
It's the Munson Ark.
Very, very good.
If we ever have another flood or anything like that, we can somewhat help in populating there with the animals.
Lovely. Look, before I go any further, could I just give a couple of websites out? Because we've got a couple of websites that people can go into if they want to order the books or anything like that, and there's quite a lot of information on the websites. The first one is ufograyinfo.com, and that's Grey, spelled in the Australian way. So I'll just give that again, ufograyinfo.com. And the other website devoted to the books is thezetamessage.com.
Okay. I don't know.
I've got it going in the chat room.
So people can see the link? Perfect.
Good.
Now, as far as, I guess, is there anything that we can do to help prepare ourselves and others when it comes to the up-and-coming ascension?
Yes, well, as a matter of fact, my publisher, Granite Publishing, has a planetary healing exercise up and running that we carry out at the new moon and the full moon every month. We've got many hundreds of people on board with this already, right over the whole planet, and we were actually even given a crop circle to work with. If people want to know more about this, they can actually go into their site, which is granite-planet.net, and that's granite, Granite, as in the rock, type of rock, granite-planet.net.
I don't know if you can write that down. I can't go
got
to
it.
Thanks, because I can't do it off of my screen since I'm broadcasting the show.
Yep.
Perfect. You mentioned, and we have to wrap things up. We only have a few minutes, but you mentioned crop circles. So and
Yes.
and there's quite a lot of controversy when it comes to crop circles. Some people say, oh, it was me and my friend. We were drunk and we went out there with a backhoe and some flashlights, and it was us that did it. And other people saying, no, it's aliens. Why in the world would anybody come out here and make a design like that? It had to have been somebody else off the planet. But even if it is someone not of this world, why? You have to ask what kind of message they're trying to relate to us.
The crop circles are extremely important. They're educational, they're communication, but the main thing is within the transformational. They're a little bit like Reiki symbols in that the actual patterns that are put into the crop circles carry an energy. And people can tell which are the genuine crop circles. When you go inside them, you can actually feel the energy, and I believe that there's a sonic vibration that has been recorded in the genuine ones. It's a sort of a chirping sound. Sounds a little bit like when the Zetas talk.
Really?
And that's what the crop circles are about. They're like big transformative energy shifting or consciousness shifting patterns.
So are there patterns in it? I'll ask this one last question. I'll let Luana see if she can fit one in. So are the patterns supposed to be or supposed to do something to us as far as maybe on our subconscious level, and we're just not
absolutely. Yes, they work like Reiki symbols. They actually work on our consciousnness.
Huh. I'm gonna have to pay more attention than the crop circles and see if I feel something else besides just looking at a picture of a pattern.
Right. Yeah, they turn our vibrational frequency up to a higher level, which is what human evolution's all about.
That makes sense. Okay, because raising the vibration. Okay.
Yes.
That was actually my question. What exactly were they there for? And, it makes sense for them to raise our vibration, getting ready for the things that are going to happen.
Absolutely. And this is why people have experiences when they go into them. Some people undergo healings. Some people get headaches. They start detoxing. Yeah.
Okay, really quick, because we haven't really gone into anything other than the whole Zeta and Gray thing. How long have you been doing Reiki?
I've been doing Reiki since 1993. I did level 1, and I started teaching in about 1999. So for quite a few years. Yeah.
That's actually just being a part of this new spiritual, and I met Greg, and we've gotten a really good, tight-knit, close group of friends. I've started to go into my intuition and trusting myself more, and Reiki is actually one of the things that I have started looking at. Is there any way to know if you would be good at Reiki, or is that something that you're born with, or is that something that you can learn?
Everyone can learn Reiki. It's extremely simple. You just have to go through a series of attunements by a teacher. That's really important. But no, anyone can do it. It's very simple.
And from what you were saying earlier, it's I guess it's something that we would all do anyways as we evolve to the next level of consciousness. Today we're learning how to do Reiki on each other. Tomorrow we could be learning basically to do that same conscious effort in driving a car. Or as a Zeta's doing in driving a disc.
That's right. It's all preparation.
So if you're good at Reiki now,
what you have to look forward to in the future.
I don't know. There's been lots of people who've ridden with me, and I'm sure right now they are shivering in their seats, going, "Oh my gosh, LaWanda behind the wheel of a disc." No.
Hey, that's what you say. Me. I'll be sitting there perfectly paying attention, and all of a sudden I'll be listening to, the music that I listen to, and the whole, the ship would be doing this.
We'll be looking out for you when we're up there.
You can hear something about a mile away.
Well, Judy, we basically just ran out of time, but it was thanks for coming on tonight, because it's been enlightening and it's been fun. I hope you had a good time with us.
Thanks very much for having me.
Hopefully we can have you on again, because as I said, this was great. And I'm sure that after the show we get a lot of people that ask us questions. Hey, could you ask this person another question that I had after the show I didn't even think about asking before? Is there a way, and is there another site where people can ask you direct questions?
Yes, they can actually contact us through the ufograyinfo.com site.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
All right, well then, everybody, time for us to say goodnight. Thanks again, Judy, for being on the show. And just one quick word, everyone, if you could, just have a good prayer for the young man Trayvon Martin's family as they go through their crisis of what has occurred over the past month. But until then, hopefully we'll see everybody here next week. Thank you for tuning in and joining us on Through the Veil Live. Everyone,
And
have a
go
good night.
Mountain View.
And go Mountain View. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks, Judy.